Okay, I'm going to work one last practice problem from section D. I want to leave you with plenty of practice if you want it. If you do want any help with any of the other practice problems or with the homework, feel free to ask. You can email me or post on the discussion board or call my office or whatever you'd like to do. But this one's actually not too bad. It's a little long because there's three simple statements in it. It says, if Q and R, then P. Okay, so three simple statements. Again, that means I'm going to have 8 rows. So I'll start my truth table, Q, R, P. I'm going to have true, 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 false, 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 false. Then true, true, false, false, true, true, false, false. And then finally true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. And that's every possible combination of truth values for those statements. Again, you're fortunate here because you won't have to do that, but the interactive exercises will give it to you. But it's I think, at least helpful, hopefully helpful, to see how it's done and why it's done that way. Again, I like to draw a line to distinguish my left half from my right half. But the complex statement I'm supposed to evaluate, again, is if Q and R, then P. When you have a choice between working within the parentheses or working on the operator, you choose the parentheses. So here I need to fill out the values. I had the values for Q and R, so I just need the values for the conjunction here. To make it a little easier, I'm going to go ahead and write down the values for Q and R so I can see them directly. Again, Q is true, 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 false, 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 false. And R is true, true, false, false, true, true, false, false. All right. Now the conjunction. It's only going to be true when both conjuncts are true. So Q has to be true and R has to be true. So that happens here. So true, that happens here. True, false because of the R is false. False for the same reason. Now false because Q is false. Same thing. And then false and false. So it's only true on 2 rows. All right. Now P, if you remember correctly, is true, false, true, false, true, false, true, false. And I probably should have filled that in at the very beginning just to have all my simple statements covered, but there it is. And now just my final operator here. And remember, it is conditional. The consequent is this conjunction right here, so I need to look at this row, sorry, this column rather, and the consequent is P, which is this column. All right, and remember the rule: if the antecedent is false, then the conditional is true, right? So every row where you see that the conjunction is false, you'll get true. That's all of these. And then if the antecedent is true, then the consequent has to be true as well. So that happens here on the first row, but not on the second row. All right, so that is my main operator. I will circle it. Again, you will just check it and click on the horseshoe. That's the main operator. And again, it's long, but it's a fairly simple truth table to construct. If you look at it, you'll see there's just one row where this comes out false, so it's almost true no matter what, but there's one scenario where this comes out false, namely when P is false and Q and R are both true. That is the entire truth table. Now, be careful with these. I haven't mentioned this before, but you can see there's a lot of truth values I filled in here, right? You got to get them all right. Now, some of these will give for you. It'll give you the simple ones, and it'll fill them in over here for you as well, but you got to get all these right. And you might say, well, can't I get partial credit if I get close to getting them all right? There's really no objective way that Dashboard can give you partial credit for this, because when you're looking at the values for the complex parts of this, like the conjunction or the conditional or something like that, any minor mistake can magnify. It'll lead to errors when you do the truth values for the complex statements. So you can get it wrong with just a very minor mistake and still have a lot of mistakes that show up because of that one minor error. So again, as far as I can figure out, there's no real way to figure out how close you came to getting it right just by looking at how many of the truth values you had right. So this is one where you're going to need to be careful. There's a lot to fill in, but again, the patterns, the rules are fairly simple. So if you just take your time and work through it carefully, then hopefully you can get full credit. Okay.